turn.
Hi, Mommy.
Hi. Is that tea? Can you say tea?
Daddy.
Tea.
Daddy.
Can you say
Daddy.
tea?
Hi, Aurora.
Hi, Daddy.
Tea.
Hi,
Can
Aurora.
I have a sippy?
We can probably get you a sippy.
Can you say tea? Tea. Your turn. Hey, lovelies, it's Jen here.
And sort of John.
And it's been a Monday. It's been a really long Monday. So we are going to, instead of showing a video, go ahead for today and do a We Love collab for the Vlogmas. They have different topics for each of the days of Christmas. And today, or Vlogmas, today's topic, which was day 5, which was talk about traditions or memories from your childhood Christmas that you remember. So I'm going to go ahead and start, and if John thinks of any, he's going to pop in and share his. In my family, we did 2 Christmases, well, 3, but typically it would be the German Christmas on Christmas Eve, and then we did the Russian Christmas on Christmas Day, like Christmas afternoon, and then we did Christmas at home with my family in the morning. So for German Christmas, I have a lot of memories. They served dinner before we went to candlelight service, and dinner in Germany isn't dinner, it's lunch. So at that time they serve cold cuts and sandwiches, and they have their heavy meal during the day. So whenever we had Christmas Eve meal, unlike Thanksgiving where my grandma cooked a whole meal, for Christmas Eve, she always had cold cuts out. So she had the dark and white German rye bread that have like the swirlies in it. So when you cut it, it's like looking at swirls. And then all sorts of special mustards and horseradish and all types of luncheon meat and cheese. And then she always had Lebkuchens out. She always had actual walnuts and nutcrackers out so we could actually crunch the walnuts and make a mess on her nice table. I don't know why she would put that out.
I never knew Lebkuchen before I met you, but now I'm hooked.
So yeah, we always had Lebkuchen, and
Do you want to tell them what Lebkuchen is if they don't know?
Lebkuchen is like a gingerbready sort of a gingerbread spice cake, and it's got usually it either has a chocolate or a vanilla coating over the top, and sometimes candies on top of that. And so it's like eating really fresh, soft gingerbread, and a lot of times it has a sweet rice paper underneath that you eat that's attached to the bottom of the Lebkuchen, and it's just a traditional like German dessert, and it's always served during the holiday times in Bavaria, where my grandma was from. So we always had Lebkuchen, and hubby says he likes it, and the kids mostly seem to like it. So
Especially Diego.
yeah, Diego was really sad when we ran out after Thanksgiving.
Very upset.
Yeah, so I'm still trying to remember at some point before we run out of finances in December to go back to World Market,
Cost
Plus World Market, because that's where they have like the real, it's not like fake, this is like from Germany, Lebkuchen, and they have like 6 to 8 different types to choose from, so it's a pretty awesome selection. So I'm pretty excited, and actually I should go this weekend, maybe if I get a chance, because I can probably get the advent calendar for us, because the kids all got one from my mom, but I can probably get an advent calendar from us from Germany for a discount, because now that it's already started, it might be on extra discount, so I can get the real German chocolate, which is excellent. Which reminds me, another thing we always got was our, it's a pre-Christmas celebration, but my grandmother always gave us advent calendars, because that's like really big in Germany, and so we would get an advent calendar every year, and now my mom has taken over that tradition, and she pretty much always gets us advent calendars for the kids, and gives them to them at Thanksgiving, which is kind of like what my grandma did. And then besides the cold cuts and the Lebkuchen, for dessert time after we got back from church, and church was always a candlelight service, and it was like a really traditional candlelight service in that they gave the kids candles with a little paper circle around them and lit them. And you held them and sang Christmas carols for a good 30 minutes, like in wooden pews, like all the kids are holding, and adults, but everybody's holding candles and the lights are out. And that was like tradition. We did that every year, like with my grandma and grandpa. Sometimes my grandpa sang up in the choir and sometimes he didn't, but every year we went and did the candlelight service, so I can still remember that. That's pretty funny.
Did you have a tradition on New Year's of building a new church to replace the one you burned down?
No, but every once in a while somebody get burnt or the flame would get sidetracked by a kid maybe and start leaning sideways and be like, watch out for the hymnal, because you're holding paper hymnals. So it was good. And then I think probably because of that, when we got back, my grandma always had like German chocolates to hand out to everybody as well as See's candy. And then she had for the adults, but she always snuck the kids at least one, German chocolate cups. And they're like that big and round and hollow. They're chocolate and they're hollow. And inside she would pour like orange liqueur or cherry liqueur. Or she had like a surprising amount of liqueurs. Like there was probably 12 to 15 different flavored liqueurs to choose from. And she had like dark chocolate, light chocolate, white chocolate cups. And then everybody had liqueurs in the cups. And then we opened presents around the tree. And I do remember they had a real tree usually on that side of the family. And for quite a while, I think until my grandpa was on oxygen, they lit candles on their tree. They had actual candle bronze little dishes, and they had a spot to put a candle in, and they actually lit the tree with 20, 30, 40 candles instead of lights each Christmas. So that was always exciting. I thought even as a kid, I was like, wow, that's exciting and dangerous. What if the presents start on fire? That's what I was thinking. Oh, that would be bad if our presents started on fire. But that was something they did. So that was the German side. And I'll see if John has any memories he wants to share. And then if not, then I'll share some of my Russian side and Portuguese side.
I don't tend to have great detailed memories like that. Mainly thinking of the Christmas when my grandma woke up to a stray dog that came in and adopted her. So she had a dog named him Chris for Chris Kringle and had him for years after that. Very good dog. It's a surprise Christmas present from the world.
That's pretty cool. That's a good name. That reminds me, my sister-in-law adopted a cat on Christmas, so they named it Halloween. A kitten they found.
Adopted on Halloween.
Short. Yeah.
Not Christmas.
Oh, Halloween. Yes. And they call her Hallie for short, so it's pretty silly. So that's sort of similar to your Christmas Chris dog story. So that's just interesting. All right, so on my German side, I told you everything. On my Portuguese/Russian side, it was an interesting combination. So a lot of times we would have soupish, which is a Portuguese, like not a lot of times, like all the time, we would have soupish for Christmas meal. And soupish is like a giant pot of mint and flavored broth that you put on
and
giant pieces of French or sourdough bread. And then there's
big chunks of meat.
Big chunks of like roast minced meat that you would serve separately. I don't know why my computer's making noises, so excuse that. So we would always have soupish, which was a Portuguese dish. And at the same time, we would have kolaches for dessert, which was like a Russian cookie. Kolaches are hard to describe, but they've got a spice inside, and then they've got the dough wrapped around it. Kind
like a puff pastry dough or something, maybe?
Yeah, well, not
I'm
quite.
trying now.
Well, I don't think it's puff pastry, but it's the same idea. It would be like if you got a croissant or something and it was stuffed with chocolate. Similar idea, except cookie material, and it's stuffed with like a spiced, datey, nutty kind of filling, and then it's got sugar crystals all along the outside, like completely covered in sugar crystals. Not like colorful sugar crystals, just plain sugar crystals. And then they're all like, I don't know, like long and skinny, kind of like mini hot dogs, like that kind of sized, I guess. And then I don't know what reason. I don't think it has anything to do with Russian or Portuguese, but my grandma always made like 1 or 2 horseshoe shaped ones. And like that was the big deal if you got the horseshoe shaped ones because that was lucky. So I don't know. But so yeah, for that side of the family, the next day it was soupish, which was great, and kolaches. And so that was like the traditional food we ate there. And then yeah, so that was kind of it. We opened presents and played bingo and stuff, but that was neither here or there. But that's kind of like the traditional food and stuff we ate on that side. And that was kind of like the 2 major traditions I can think of for that. For my family at home, like my immediate family, we always would open in the morning in between the 2, which I think kind of sometimes was a little tough because as kids, because you were out late and then you came back and you had to get early and your parents didn't want to, they were tired and you're up early, and then after that, you had to leave everything you just got and go off somewhere else, so that kind of was bad. But at any rate, those are the 2 major like traditions I can think of. So we have the German side, and then we had and the candlelight service, and then we would go to church with my family usually in the morning mass, and then we would have well, actually, I should correct that. We did have midnight mass as a tradition in my family. So my family didn't have, like, we were kind of crammed in between the grandparents on either end, but we did do midnight mass. So a lot of times we would do candlelight service and squish in a midnight mass after that. So that was kind of different and fun. So sometimes we would do, like, I guess it wouldn't count as the same day, but it felt like you were doing 2 services on the same day, especially after you've had some liqueur. And then we would go to midnight mass, come home, open the presents early, and then go off and have Russian and Portuguese Christmas. So, do you have any other traditions you want to share?
When I was real young, we had the same sort of back-to-back days. Christmas Eve was always over at my dad's mom, and I was young enough. I don't have a strong memory of if we had any special food regularly there. She later moved out of the area, so we'd go up and visit her for a few days afterward. Then Christmas Day was over on my mom's side, and we'd have basically like another Thanksgiving dinner. So I think a few more meals or dishes. We'd have like 3 types of meat sometimes.
So it sounds like we both remember food as part of
I'm
our
trying to keep on theme.
Yep, you're trying to keep on theme. And for our own traditions for our kids, I haven't done midnight mass with them. We used to do that when we lived in Newark, but since we moved out this way, we haven't found a church that does the midnight mass out here. So I haven't done that tradition with them since we came out here. Traditions in our family are, well, we have a naughty elf, so that's a tradition. A naughty elf lives in our house. So that is a tradition we have in our house, as Savannah just suggested. And another tradition we have is that we do the advent calendars, which my mom has handed down from her side of the family. So we do still do that. And I think I'm kind of getting them hooked a little bit on Lebkuchen.
Especially the Eggo.
Not intentionally necessarily, but they seem to enjoy Lebkuchen, so that's kind of like a holiday-ish treat that I think they're kind of like retroactively, whatever you call it, getting more used to. So, and Berkeley's always loved Lebkuchen since I can remember. So most Travis likes it. I think most of them like it actually. So I don't think so. I think everybody likes it. Yeah. So Lebkuchen's been kind of a hit. So it's kind of turning into, I guess, a tradition. Um, and we open our presents in the morning. One thing I do is I tend to get them new pajamas for the night before so that they can have new pajamas for when they open presents in the morning, so they get to go to bed in new pajamas. That's kind of like my own little tradition because I think that's kind of nice and not something I had, but I think it's kind of special and nice to have new pajamas on Christmas Eve. So that's mine. So I don't know what's going on over there. I think
The dog's doing something I don't want to know about.
the dog's eating crayons again. But at any rate, anything else you wanted to add?
You started last year the tradition of Vlogmas posting.
Oh gosh, yeah. I try and do some Vlogmas posting. Like this year, instead of doing like all the prompts, I'm only doing prompts in between because we have so many shows with the kids and things are always happening. So there's always almost something. Plus, there's a lot of birthdays and other stuff um, all around the holidays for us. So it's kind of full. But tonight we're using one of the prompts, so that works out. So again, we're using a prompt from We Love Collabs. I'd love to hear what you guys have as a tradition in your families that you remember or that you've carried on with your families. So go ahead and share that down below, and we will see you on the flip side tomorrow on Tuesday. Bye. That's what happens. I can't click it off because I'm sad and tired. Here we go. Sorry, guys.